LinkedIn's very much a momentum game, and social media is more of a science than an art. It's actually slightly easier to build a more valuable network that way.
So I'm going to give you two options and you just choose one out of the two. Strategy or spontaneity?
Strategy,
Content every day or one killer post a week?
content every day,
Go deep in one niche or dabble in multiple interests?
deeper one niche.
100K followers with low engagement or 5K super fans?
5K super fans.
Polished or raw posts?
Polished.
Controversial takes or safe value posts?
I love a bit of controversy. Controversial.
So most people treat LinkedIn like a digital CV and nothing more. Do you think there's a missed opportunity there?
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a missed opportunity because I think LinkedIn has changed in the last 5 years, but to where it was more of just like a job hunting board, and you can still use it like that. But if you want to improve your chances of getting a job, then using LinkedIn to build in public, you don't even have to get like a massive following, in my opinion, especially if you're a young professional. Like, for example, I got the job I have at 700 followers, but at the time I was posting consistently and was proving that I could do the work. At the time, I was just trying to get into copywriting. Um, so, yeah, as long as you show proof of work and that you can stick to something, I think that's what matters most.
Of course. And how about the biggest mistake you see people make on the platform when they're trying to build a brand? And how do you think that can be avoided?
Well, one, I don't think people stick to it long enough. Um, like people expect something to happen within like a few weeks, and it's just not the case. Like LinkedIn's very much a momentum game, and it takes a little while for stuff to snowball, but then eventually, like people look at it from a week to week basis. Really, you should look at it from like a bi-weekly or maybe even monthly basis, as long as it's going up. And then the people who do stick to it, I don't think they like adapt. There's a lot of even quite big LinkedIn creators who um, they were growing 2, 3 years ago, and then they're doing the same content today, and they complain about the algorithm why they're not growing. So I say you've always got to just test, learn, and iterate on basically the feedback and the data that you're being given, and see what's working. I think that's another thing as well. People try to reinvent the wheel too much with every single post when realistically if you find a model that works. And I think social media is more of a science than an art. If you find a model that works, it's just about incorporating that model in your style, talking about the topics you want to talk about, and giving the expertise that only you can give.
I guess in that sense, there's a lot of noise on LinkedIn, but also in
Mm.
terms of imitation or regurgitation of other posts. How can people make sure that they sound like themselves instead of a generic personal brand?
Yeah, I think it like all depends on your goals. Like if you're just trying to like rack up impressions and followers, like there is a method for that. While sounding very wooden and chat GPT. Um, but I think there is a balance of finding stuff that works and yeah, like I said, adding your voice to it. And I think a lot of that comes within the writing of the post itself. I actually think it's probably easier than ever to stand out as a good writer on LinkedIn because everyone's using ChatGPT. And I have nothing against ChatGPT. I use it every single day, but you have to use it in the right way and for specific things, not the full stack, if that makes sense. Um, and like I have custom GPTs for these things. But people that just use ChatGPT for a straight up LinkedIn post with like M dashes all over it, it's like that's the wrong approach. So that's why I think it's actually quite easy to stand out if you're a good writer, and especially in the comments as well, because you see a lot of like AI comments these days. If you can just be a human and engage with people these days, um, it's actually slightly easier to build a more valuable network that way.
Mm-hmm. And how about if someone's starting from zero, so they have no audience, no content, no clue? What's the fastest way to build a brand that actually opens doors for them?
Yeah, I think so. Early doors for me, I spent a lot of time like commenting on other people's posts, networking with a lot of people. Like I said, originally I was like looking last year. maybe a bit before then, for a copywriting job. So I would connect with and message people. I wanted to get into the gaming industry, so I connected with and messaged people who were copywriters in the gaming industry, um, just to see how they got there. If there's any advice I could learn from them, and from that, like I got a few referrals. Yeah, and with posting online at the same time, I wasn't growing or anything, but I was showing my expertise, demonstrating my expertise. So if I'm starting from zero, I'm just doing a whole load of networking. I'm doing a whole load of researching what works on LinkedIn. So you can use tools like Clio, Favicon, Say What. Say What's a paid tool, but it is very good. So yeah, I would look at those to see what's performing best, what the algorithm is feeding currently. And then I would just start posting about what you like to talk about, but don't be afraid to speak. You don't have to. I feel like people try to be very nuanced on social media, and it is important to be a little nuanced, but unfortunately, like most of the time, it's either you have to have a strong stance on either side. So I like to hook people in with that strong stance and then actually say what I think within the body of the post itself. Anyway, little tangent, but that's what I'd say.
Okay, and how about the flip side? So an aspiring leader comes to you and says, I don't have time to curate and update my LinkedIn. What's your response to that?
Yeah, well, I'd say that if you're like a business owner that's serious about driving attention to your business, like having an outsized advantage, um, like maintaining a steady flow of inbound leads, if you don't have the time for it yourself, little plug, but we have a personal branding agency, Lever, and we basically run CEOs and founders accounts. Um, Basically, within a month, we deliver like very high ROI. So I'd say that in that case, like if you don't have the time for it, it's definitely a worthy investment. If you do feel like you have the time for it and it is, a high ROI time investment, um, then I'd say maybe getting someone from your team within the business to help you run your social media. I know a lot of people do that because a lot of, for example, social media managers or whoever they are within businesses, they're focused on running company accounts, but it's just outdated. You should be getting them to run like a CEO or founder's personal page instead of that.
Interesting. And you yourself have an impressive following on LinkedIn. What's something you've posted on LinkedIn that felt maybe like a risk, but paid off?
I think the first time, like the riskiest post, I didn't feel like I've like ever really risked too much because it's just LinkedIn to be fair. But I'd say I did my first like brand partnership like ages ago. Um, didn't get paid much for it, but I was like, wow, I can get paid for doing something that I was doing for free anyway. But I was curious at the time, like how people react to something that's obviously a brand partnership, like something that I was obviously being paid for. Um, it landed all right. So yeah.
Nice. And what are your thoughts on AI? So it's obviously changing how people build content and brands online. Do you think it's a helpful tool, or do you think it could be killing brands? And where should leaders draw the line?
Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting topic, but I feel like in 2025, if you're still avoiding AI entirely, then you're doing something wrong. I do feel like it's very strong in multiple aspects. Even the recent image model update, like if you are trying to build an MVP as a brand new business owner, or if you have a brand new business, then like you can create a bunch of actually quite good looking assets in about 10 minutes just with a few good prompts in the image model, which is crazy and is concerning for the likes of a graphic designer. But like, why would you not if you're in a CEO founder's position? You do that for free in 10 minutes. And it looks pretty good too. But in terms of writing, like I say, having, like, for example, I have a custom GPT which gets rid of what I call the GPT isms. So it gets rid of the M dashes, it gets rid of the common phrases. like fostering is something that ChatGPT uses a lot. So I have that. And then within our own business, like we have custom client GPTs, which we feed a bunch of information from their websites, um, any like meeting recordings that we have with them. We have like tone pages, client overview pages. So it's like an absolute expert on a client, and then you can just go to it and say, we want to write a post on this topic, and then you take bits and pieces from it. You don't take the full output, and then it gets you, I always say, like 80% of the way there, and you edit it down. But it really is in the art of prompting a little bit. There's like tips and tricks here and there that you can use. Like if you create a custom GPT, for example, the first thing you should say to when you start a new chat is remind me and yourself what it is you do. And it will tell you, and then it makes less mistakes. And also, you can give it feedback when you're using it. And just if you say to it, remember this for the future, it will remember that for the future. Um, but yeah, I just feel like you have to put a bit of time into setting these things up, but they save you hours of time. And you just don't lose the quality if you are actually engaging with your human brain in the content.
This might be it, but what's one taboo or controversial belief you have about personal branding that most people in your space would disagree with?
I don't know if it's like necessarily taboo, but I think a belief that a lot of people have, and it's one that I know I had. So I know a lot of people that aren't particularly within the space will think is that, like I said earlier, they have to reinvent the wheel every time. And it's just not true. Like I always say, think about any of the greatest marketing campaigns, they all involve repetition. So if you find something that works on LinkedIn, don't be afraid to post that again in 2 to 3 months, or even post that again in 1 month, but repurpose it. So, like if it's a carousel, for example, for a client, I might repurpose it into a cheat sheet or an infographic, um, or take the core of that message and dilute it into something which is a bit more top level and easier to digest. Um, so I say just don't be afraid to repeat yourself a little bit. Ultimately, um, it's all well and great growing followers and things like that and getting impressions, but it should ultimately serve a goal. So, like for me right now, I'm mainly just trying to build one. I want to show clients that I can grow quickly on LinkedIn because we promise we can grow them quickly on LinkedIn, but also in terms of like brand positioning, that's like my goal. But if your goal is leads, then if you find that one post got you a lot of leads, don't be afraid to do that post again. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Perfect. Okay, thanks so much. We'll end it there.